Namaste, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone joining us tonight. My name is Nitin Gupta, and I will be your moderator for this webinar. I'm an industry leader working for Hargrove, an engineering company in the Houston area, and a volunteer for Heartfulness. Today's agenda includes a brief introduction to Heartfulness meditation and an informational session by Dr. Munish, where he will explore profound connection between inner peace and physical health, emphasizing how mindfulness, nutrition, and lifestyle choices contribute to overall well-being. The session will end with a guided relaxation and peace intention pair. So a little bit about heartfulness meditation. I would like to provide a brief overview of heartfulness meditation. Heartfulness meditation is a simple, heart-centered meditation practice designed to bring stillness to the mind, peace to the heart, and balance in life. It helps individuals connect with their inner self through meditation, allowing them to cultivate calmness and clarity in their everyday lives. This practice is accessible to everyone, free of cost, regardless of experience or spiritual background, and it strives to promote peace, unity, and well-being in the community. The core practice of heartfulness meditations are relaxation, meditation on the heart, cleaning technique, prayer, and connection. Now, I would introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Munish Chawla. We are thrilled to have Dr. Munish Chawla with us today. Dr. Munish Chawla is a board-certified physician in diagnostic radiology and lifestyle medicine. He currently serves as a volunteer clinical faculty where he lectures to medical students on the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. A longtime practitioner of meditation and yoga, he adopted a plant-based lifestyle in 2013. Upon becoming aware of the research-proven health benefits and the evidence-based approach lifestyle medicines uses to treat and reverse chronic diseases, he became certified in this new and germane specialty. He is especially passionate about this specialty because it gives the patient agency into taking control of their own health. With their clinic, Lifestyle Docs, Dr. Chawla hopes to not just reverse disease, but guide and support his patients in achieving holistic health and wellness. He is also the co-founder of Peaceful Planet Foundation. This organization is dedicated to improving the lives of adults and children through plant-based nutrition and mindfulness. Hello, Munish. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We'll look forward to your valuable contents you have to share with us. And I encourage participants to post questions in a Q&A chat window. Our intention is to keep this webinar interactive so that you can get maximum value for your time. Please take over, Munish.
Thank you so much, Nitin. And I'm very happy to be here. As Nitin was reading the introduction, I mean, this technique of heartfulness, what you are doing and what the other volunteers are doing, and the Heartfulness organization, promoting peace, unity, well-being. We just have to look at the news for 1 minute and realize this is so needed in our world. Our world seems broken and divisive. So I just really want to applaud the organizers for putting on this wonderful series. I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started.
Sure.
So let me go from the beginning. Here we go. So when Nitin approached me, I thought a little bit about, how we can talk about inner peace and lifestyle medicine, but it really didn't take me very long at all because this is something that is very crucial, very important, and I hope you'll see how I'm kind of putting the dots together. And let's get started. So what we're all wanting to do, whether it's from any technique or in any way, is to have a peaceful mind. And more often than not, we seem to have a turbulent mind. The mind doesn't want to stay in the present moment. It's going all over the place. And let me go to the next slide. So you can also say turbulent mind, you can say craving mind, grasping mind. And what all of these have in common, that we are not happy with the present moment. As you see in this graphic, she's thinking about food, but it could be work, it could be traffic, it could be to-do list, it could be 10 different things. But when we are thinking or daydreaming in such a way, we're not in the present moment. And when we're not in the present moment, when we're in this, we want something more, then this creates some tension. So more the wants, greater the tension. Another way to say it is, greater the stress level in our body and our mind. Greater the stress level, the body, this is how it operates. The higher the stress hormones. Higher the stress hormones, greater the inflammation. So this has been proven on multiple studies. You have folks, who are sort of stressed, and you take their blood work, and their inflammatory markers are elevated. And that same person, they have them do yoga or mindfulness or any sort of contemplative practice, and they notice that in the blood work, when they repeat it, the inflammation, drops. And inflammation, you can think of it as a disease driver. So greater the inflammation in the body, poorer the physical health and the mental health. So as Nitin mentioned, we want to keep this interactive. If any part, if anyone has any questions before I move on to the next slide, by all means, let me know, Nitin.
Yeah, so there is already, Munish, a question. Can chronic eczema be reversed by lifestyle changes?
Chronic, say the last part again, please.
Eczema, chronic eczema, ECZEMA.
Okay, eczema.
Eczema.
Right. So this is something that is lifestyle medicine, and I'll talk about eczema and diseases when I get a little bit later. But short answer is all these autoimmune diseases, such as eczema and other psoriatic arthritis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, they are mediated by the immune system. The immune system is what mediates our inflammation. So with these practices that we're talking about and what Nitin mentioned, all these practices center you, reduce your stress hormones, and secondarily will lead to decreased inflammation and will optimize our immune system. So, one is, craving mind, turbulent mind, grasping mind. This is going to increase our stress or tension in the system. I want to go over other things that can increase tension or stress. So unhealthy food, if we're eating lots of processed foods, this is what I tell my patients, they can have as many potatoes as they want, as long as they're whole potatoes, steamed, baked, whatever their choice is. But potato chips is a highly processed food, so that's not so good. When you're eating a lot of animal products, a lot of times in the popular, at least in social media, fish and chicken are considered healthy, but they are animal products like any other animal product. And they are, especially if eaten in excess, they're going to be unhealthy. Poor lifestyle, staying on the couch, not moving around, not being mindful of our sleep, staying up late, for a variety of reasons, not getting the sleep that our body needs, our mind needs, all of these are going to contribute to stress in the system. And when I'm talking about the system, maybe I focus a little bit on the individual cell for a moment. So ultimately, our body is made up of 45 trillion cells. And that's such a large number. I don't even know how large that number is. So you can just see how beautifully designed our body is, that it's providing nutrition, it's providing oxygen, providing water, all the things each individual cell needs at any given time. So we want this individual cell to thrive, right? But when we are engaging in sedentary behavior, sitting on the couch too much, not minding our sleep, this is going to be a hostile environment for the cell. And in our 21st century busy lifestyle, there's every time you get in your car, you see traffic in Houston. There's all deadlines, work-related, home-related, kids, lots of things that are always, we seem to have a never-ending to-do list. And emotional stressors, if you are, whether it's your spouse or someone else, if the relationships are not so harmonious, this can add some stress, to our body. And having a really busy work life where the office feels like it's just really, you feel like you're carrying 1,000, pounds on your head and shoulders, this can lead to stress. And there's lots of other forms of stressors like, cigarettes, alcohol, other substances. And, we live in Houston, refineries are just 20 miles away. So all that pollution and our food supply, pesticides, other substances in the 21st century, which are just common harmful chemicals that are all, we're exposed to every day. So all these things cause stress to the individual cell. And when that cell is stressed, that means it can't do its job properly. So if it's a kidney cell, it's not going to be able to filter the blood so well. If it's a brain cell, maybe you feel overwhelmed, maybe you feel, emotionally disconnected, turbulent mind. So all this is interconnected. So this is the wonderful thing, that our sages knew from millennia, that mind or body are not separate. So all these things affect the body, affect the mind. So again, I'm going to just kind of pause after each. Let me do one more slide and then I'll pause again. So here's the picture of a cell. You can see it's sort of, not looking so good, not looking so healthy. This person has unhealthy diet, not a good lifestyle, craving turbulent mind, and maybe he's engaging in these unhealthy substances, living in a big city, and maybe the interpersonal relationships are not so good. So all these things are going to weigh on the cell. It's not going to be able to do its job very well. So we'll contrast this with a healthy cell. But before I go back, I just wanted to show the image of the healthy cell. And now I'll go back here to see if anyone has any specific questions on any of the, different stressors that I talked about.
Yeah, so what our audience is learning is, as you said, our body is made up of almost 40 or 45 trillion cells. And at the end of the day, there are external factors which we cannot control, as you mentioned. But at the end of the day, this is affecting the cell. So the question is, those cells stacked up, and that's create the stress. How does that happens?
Okay, so each of our individual cell in our body, it's connected to every other cell, right? It's connected through the interstitium. It's connected through the blood supply, connected with hormones, connected with the immune system. So there's no like individual cell, even though they are a separate entity, they are part of a larger community, right? So think of a liver. So there are all liver cells in the liver, but they're communicating with each other. And not just that, the liver cell is communicating with the heart cell, with the brain cell, with the gut cell, with the skin cell. This is the marvelous architecture and machinery that our body is, that everything works in concert. When things are going well, things are in harmony, everything works well. So when each individual cell is struggling, that means the whole body is struggling. And as Nitin mentioned, some of these are external. We live in a busy city with traffic and pollution. Not too much we can do about it, but we can do a lot with our diet, with our lifestyle, how we, make choices in the day. So there's some factors we may not be able to control very much, but other factors we can control quite a bit. So this is, when we're not doing so well. So I'm going to jump to a cell that's thriving. So when we're eating whole plant foods, lots of fruits, vegetables, beans, pulses, lentils, nuts, and seeds, this is the right fuel for the cell. This is the right fuel for the whole body. When we eat these kind of foods, our immune system is working well, our lungs, respiratory system is working well, our heart is pumping well, liver is doing its job, our brain is sharp, and all these things being interconnected, everything works well in the body. When we exercise, same thing, every cell in our body is affected. When we take time for sleep, this is when we regenerate. This is when the cells, cell is like a little factory. So it's building things throughout the day. And at nighttime, the factory needs some cleaning up. And this is the part that sleep does. It cleans up our cells. Brain cell, when it gets cleaned up, we have less emotional stress. The next day, we're fresher. Kidney cell is cleaned up at night. The next day, it's ready to filter when we again start eating. And just going through these different parts, instead of staying in the city, going to a park, going to nature is so helpful for us. It's helpful for the whole body and mind. And I'm using body and mind separately, but I'm sure this audience knows that that's an artificial, separation that we're making because of terminology, because it's all one holistic system. Harmonious relationships. This person, at the top is enjoying her job. And as much as we can to limit the toxic exposure, eating more organic foods, eating lower on the food chain. So again, whole plant foods, you're going to have less pesticides, less toxins to deal with. And you notice at the very bottom, I have, a peaceful person. So this is the foundation for all of this. So when you're in a peaceful, relaxed, calm state, you can make better choices. You can make better food choices, better lifestyle choices. You're more harmonious with the folks next to you. So this is fundamental. This is foundational. So that's why I have the peaceful person at the bottom as the foundation of a healthy lifestyle that's going to lead to a healthy body, healthy mind. So again, I'm going to pause to see if there's any other questions in the chat.
Yes, so there are two questions. Number one is, in what ways does a negative environment affect cellular communication and consequently our well-being? I think you have already answered that, but in just few words before I take the second question.
Sure. So when we are affecting, when we're saying something that's damaging the cell, so obviously it's going to have negative consequences for that cell. And now, as I mentioned, the cell is not in isolation. It's connected to every other cell in the body, and every other cell is also being affected. So the way they're interacting, the vascular system, their cells, that line our arteries, when all of those are suffering, then hormones are going to go haywire. So all these are different ways of communication, and they're all affected by unhealthy diet and lifestyle.
Awesome. Second question is, how does nutrition affect cellular communication, and what dietary choices can support a holistic healing approach?
Yeah, so I'm really glad that, folks are really, interested in wanting to kind of say, okay, what can I do to improve my health? So it starts at the cellular level. And if you have a healthy kidney cell, healthy liver cell, healthy brain cell, and then what connects these, there are countless ways these cells are connected. And frankly, science still doesn't know how all the connections are, but I'll mention the main ones. That's the arteries and veins and the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, and the hormonal system. So each in turn is made up of cells also. So all this communication, when the hormones are not doing their job, maybe they're helping one organ, not the other organ, or things are hot. One hormone is high, the other is lower. So I want want everyone to think of this as a symphony. When all the players who are in the symphony, the flute players, the violin players, the drum section, the guitar section, when everyone is playing well and things are harmonious, we get beautiful music. But even when one person is not playing in the tune, not getting the nourishment it needs, things are a little bit worse. And the more of the folks in the symphony, the more they are not playing harmoniously, they're not following the tune, they're not playing together well, the worse it sounds. So to answer the second part, the type of foods that are going to give you cellular health, mental health, brain health, heart health, it's fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, lentils, beans, whole grains, whole wheat, amaranth, sorghum, bajri, gehu, jawar, all of these wonderful things that we grew up with, eating them in as unprocessed form as possible. Whenever you process these foods, it degrades the food, it increases the inflammation in the body. And I'm sort of doing very high level. There's a lot of nuance and complexity to this, but at the end of the day, some things are pretty similar. If you eat whole plant foods, exercise, sleep well, good relationships, spend time in nature, minimize toxins in your body, eating organic food, all these things are nourishing every part of your body and mind.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. We are getting a lot of questions. So the other question which our audience want to ask you, Munish, is could you talk about the concept of the connectome in this context?
So connectome, this is something I don't know very much about, but this is something that is really getting a lot of, I guess, publicity. And basically, we're realizing that the cells are connected through many ways, and some of the ways we're just beginning to find out. And all this just sort of underscores that when we are, living a healthy diet and lifestyle, the connectome included, everything in the connectome, everything in communication, each individual cell, everything just works a little bit better. Again, using the simile of the symphony, that everything just works well together.
Great, great. Thank you. What is your opinion on including the dairy products to our diet?
Okay, so this is, sort of a nuanced question. And if you were to have this conversation, let's say 5,000 years ago, then probably at that time, dairy was probably just fine. But in modern day, given the amount of pesticides and the toxins and how the cattle, dairy cows are fed, they're fed things with lots of pesticides, lots of different, not even their natural food. So as I was mentioning, when you're eating lower on the food chain, when you're eating plants, you get some exposure to pesticide. But when some animal, let's say a cow, is eating 100 pounds of feed every day, and this is not their natural food. And in addition to that, it's filled with pesticides and other things that are not so healthy for it. And all those pesticides, all those toxins are now going to get concentrated in all the bodily tissues, in their muscles, and also in the milk. Secondly, the way to maximize milk production is to have the hormone levels of the cow high. So cows these days, they are given artificial hormones. And so a cow 5,000 years ago, would have sort of normal hormonal levels. Now, a lot of times the cow is given artificial hormones, and people say, okay, what about organic? Even in organic, the way the industry is designed, they want to keep the hormone levels high. And now we're getting those excess hormones. So this has very real consequences. The age of menarche for women, even let's say 250 years ago was around 14 and 15. And now it's down to 10 to 11. And a lot of that is hormones from animal products, including dairy. And there's, different issues with inflammation, different issues with productions. I don't want to take too much time, but I really do want people to understand that in the 21st century, dairy is probably not a healthy choice.
Got it. Yeah, there is a flood of questions coming on, but I would like you to continue with your valuable content. So we have to be sensitive of the time as well.
Sure, sure. So all these things, which I talk to people, spend more time in nature, eat more whole plant foods, exercise, mind your sleep, find time to meditate. All these things, no one argues that these are a good idea. Everyone seems like, okay, they don't know how well they might work, but no one argues that this is a bad idea. And this, I want to segue into introducing the field of lifestyle medicine. So this is something my wife learned about, almost 8 years ago. And then she made me aware of it. And then we both studied for the board examination in lifestyle medicine, and we both got board certified in 2018. And, this is talking about the same things. This is a evidence-based specialty. They're looking at peer-reviewed medical journals. What is healthiest for us? Again, whole plant foods, physical activity, healthy ways to manage stress. So this is where I would put, meditation and mindfulness, prayer, all these things would fall into that category. Having harmonious relationships, positive relationships, getting enough sleep, not doing tobacco, limiting alcohol. So all of these things are important. And, the other thing I like the way this graphic is, it doesn't say that food is more important than sleep, or managing your stress is more important than, getting rid of tobacco and other things. It says for us, the human animal, for each individual cell to thrive, you want to aim to really work on all of these, right? And one of the things that allows us to make healthy choices is a calm, a meditative, mindful mind. If we're mindful of our choices, whether it relates to sleep or food, we're going to do a better job. So this is how, having peace, a peaceful mind is foundational for all of this. And this is something I talk about with my patients. First thing when I see someone coming into my office and they're really stressed, I don't talk about their diet. I don't talk about, what they're doing. I said, okay, the first thing we need to do is get you to where you're not just always in reactive mode and stressed and anxious. We need to work on that. And, you can use exercise, you can use mindfulness, you can use prayer, whatever tool they are amenable to, that's what we focus on, because that's just foundational. Okay, so that is pretty much the main part. And if there are other questions, I'm happy to answer, Nathan.
Sure. So we have question from our audience. What holistic techniques or therapies are most effective for enhancing communication at the cellular level?
Okay, so this is going to be very individualized, right? We're covering very high level stuff that this is in general for, do A, not B, eat more whole foods, not processed foods. But for specifically, it has to be like, what is the underlying issue with the person? Maybe it's something, that's completely related to, we can do everything well, but if, let's say, they are doing tobacco and alcohol, especially in access, this is going to destroy the communication. So everything that improves the cell also improves the communication. So they're not separate. Just because we as scientists treat them as separately, the body is one holistic unit. So I don't want people to sort of get caught up, what helps this, what helps that. It's a holistic approach that when we work on these 6 pillars, that's what they're called, pillars of lifestyle medicine, everything gets well. And then we look at the individual patient. Okay, what is this person? What is their individual need? What do we need to do on a specific level? So very specific questions, it's going to be hard to answer, but this is really, this is what leads to holistic health.
Got it. Thank you, Munish. Next question is, how does sugar impacts our health, cellular communication, and cell health?
Okay, so sugar, this is a very good question because just think about it. Maybe 500 years ago, certainly 5,000 years ago, there is no table sugar, right, in our environment. All these modern methods that are taking things from sugar beets and sugar cane and concentrating them and processing them and making them available to us, these didn't exist. So 5,000 years ago, our body didn't have concentrated sugar. There's no issue with eating sugar cane. And if you have eaten sugar cane, to even eat 18, 20 inches of sugar cane, it's a workout, right? It's so fibrous that you're only going to be able to get a little bit of sugar from that sugar cane. And now in 1 teaspoon of sugar, we probably have 8 sugar canes to make 1 teaspoon of sugar.
Wow.
So just think how much concentrated, how much processing is done to make table sugar. And now we don't think anything about it. We put a couple of spoons in our tea. So our hormones, our body evolved over, hundreds of thousands, and some would say even millions of years. So our physiology can handle sugar cane. Our physiology can handle whole plant foods because that's what we've been exposed to. But when we process that and really concentrate things, it affects our hormones, it affects cellular health, it affects cellular communication, it affects it at a deep level. So really just think of, when you're picking up something to eat, does this look like something that came from the garden? Did it look like something that came from nature? Or does it look like something that came from the factory? So if it's from the factory, we want to minimize it. I know in today's busy lifestyle, we're not trying to be perfect, but we're trying to make better choices. So we eat, less processed food, more whole plant foods. I don't want anyone to think that this is, the way it is and everybody needs to do this. But I do want to encourage people, do more things from whole plant foods, from garden, and less from packages and processed foods.
Great, awesome. So this is a good segue that we have someone from the audience asked, Dr. Chawla, I love how you connect the calmness of mind to making lifestyle changes. Our choices will be better when we are calm. Are you going to cover some mindfulness strategies when we are in a crisis? So our next is heartfulness relaxation, my friends. So this is something you can do. So I think we can, I think I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation, Munish, with you. And so as I believe our audience, because I'm seeing a lot of questions. I have not planned this, but after the heartfulness relaxation, I would do a rapid fire question to you for 4 or 5 rapid fire questions for 5 or 6 minutes, and then we will end the session, if you are cool with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's do.
So this is, let me just, if you don't mind, Nitin, let
Sure.
me just mention that, like Nitin mentioned at the beginning, our clinic is lifestyledocs.com, and there's the Facebook and Instagram, and the website is lifestyledocs.com. And we also have a nonprofit. So what we teach to our patients in the clinic, we teach to underserved areas in Houston, and it's basically mindfulness, lifestyle medicine, and healthy eating. That's our approach. No matter who we meet, we're very boring people at a party because that's all we talk about. So, with that, I'll turn it over to you, Nitin, and
Okay.
please go ahead.
Sure. So we will do heartfulness relaxation. I would guide this segment of this session. So gently close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Bring your awareness to your feet. Feel the peaceful energy of earth moving through your feet, ankles, calves, and knees. Let them relax. Feel the peaceful energy relaxing your thighs, hips, abdomen. Feel this peaceful energy moving up along with your spine, relaxing all your muscles in your lower, middle, and upper back. Relax your neck. Relax your chest. Allow your shoulder to drop down and relax. Feel the peaceful energy moving through your upper arm, forearm, to your hand, all the way to your fingertips. Take a deep breath, relax, and let go. Relax your jaw, mouth, lips, your cheeks and ears. Soften your eyes, your eyebrows. Relax your forehead. Let your mind relax. All your facial muscles are relaxed all the way to the top of your head. Gently bring your attention to your heart. Feel your heart is illuminating from within. Deeply feel lightness, peace, and love. Now, from your heart, make this intention. Our hearts and hearts of all are filled with lightness and love. May everyone be radiant with joy. And the entire earth be engulfed with peace. Together, let's hold this intention. Whenever you feel ready, gently open your eyes. Thank you for being part of this heartfulness, relaxation, and prayer intention. So as I promised, we would ask Munish few more rapid fire questions to get a bonus value addition to our audience. And number one is, Munish, we learned about you that you have adopted plant-based lifestyle in 2013. Our audience would like to know, what do you typically eat for your regular meals?
Okay, yeah. So this is the wonderful thing about a plant-based lifestyle because it is dense in nutrition, but calorically it's not so dense. So you can eat a lot. So we eat rolled oats. We make, muesli with nuts and seeds, and we usually either do it with almond milk or soy milk. And we put lots of bananas, berries, and then the other thing we do frequently is we get whole wheat bread, Ezekiel bread, or farmer's market bread. Those are really very hearty and whole. They're whole grain. And we put avocados on them, tofu, tempeh, okra, eggplant, just about anything. So this is just our breakfast. We eat, so we eat a lot for breakfast. And at lunchtime, we're eating a lot of whole grains. This is like, I mentioned sorghum, wild rice, quinoa with, lentils, other sabjis, with, black dal, yellow dal, just different types of beans, chanas, all those wonderful things. And at nighttime, sometimes we keep it light and we'll eat fruits and vegetables and salads, but sometimes we'll have chapatis. And again, we don't get the flour from the Indian stores, we get whole wheat flour. And that's what we use. So we keep our dinner the lightest, whereas we eat the most at breakfast. And, we're eating fruits and vegetables throughout the day, lots of you know, whole grains, lots of beans, lots of lentils, tofu, tempeh. Really, most of these things on a typical day, we just kind of rotate. If one day we're eating quinoa, the next day we're eating wild rice, the next day, we're eating sorghum. So I'll
Got it.
keep them focused. Nathan, go ahead.
One of our friend asked, do you drink smoothies?
Yes, yes, I'm glad someone asked. Yes, so this is something we do every day also. We make smoothies with some frozen fruit and lots of greens. So this can be spinach, this can be spring mix, this can be kale, Swiss chard, whatever greens you like. And then we put nuts and seeds, we put turmeric, ginger, flax seeds, chia seeds, the healthy fats. And this is something I actually forgot to mention, so I'm really glad somebody asked. So yeah, smoothies is 6 out of 7 days, usually 7 out of 7 days, we have a smoothie to just increase our amount of vegetables we get in our diet.
Awesome. Last question. What are the myths of plant-based lifestyle?
So a lot of folks think that when they're eating, plant-based and really removing all animal products, that they're not going to get enough protein. This is something my patients are always concerned about. And so we tell them that if you eat the right foods, whole plant foods, you're not eating, chips and candy and sodas and alcohol. Those things are very nutritionally poor. And I mean, like Oreo cookies don't have any animal products, but they're full of sugar and artificial chemicals. So that's not a healthy choice. But when you're eating whole plant foods, you get lots of carbohydrates, lots of healthy fats, adequate amount of protein. And some foods like beans, lentils, chickpeas, rajma, these type of foods, tofu, tempeh, they are higher in protein. So if someone is concerned, we said, okay, let's increase the amount of these in your diet. We want to have a diverse diet, but we can emphasize these foods. So folks that are concerned, and I have them, do a nutrition chart. And these days it's very easy to check, what am I eating? How much protein am I getting? What macronutrients, micronutrients? And they're surprised to think, oh, wow, I got 15% of protein and I wasn't even trying. So that's one of the myths. The other myths are that, I'm not going to get enough calcium without dairy. And this is, again, greens, beans, nuts, and seeds have lots of calcium actually in better form that our body can absorb a little bit better. So this is another question I get asked frequently. So you have to be a little careful in what you're eating in the sense that, you're eating a diverse diet, not just, some people like broccoli, they'll eat broccoli all the time. We want to do colors of the rainbow. As long as you're doing, different variety of whole plant foods, it's really very easy and very healthy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Munish. You have been very generous with your time, for our audience, and we have really got a lot of valuable uh, action items to take. So I know we gone a little bit more, but I think our audience will appreciate the value out of this discussion.
Thank you very much, Nathan. It's been my pleasure. And like I mentioned, you guys are doing such wonderful and important work. So I'm just glad to be an honor to be a part of it. And I really enjoyed your meditation. And this is, another comment I would make. Whatever calls to you, heartfulness, mindfulness, prayer. I know the next speaker that's coming up, you're going to be introducing is transcendental meditation. Whatever takes you to that, calm, peaceful, inner, generous heart. These are all tools. So use what works best for you, but really encourage everyone to give these tools a try.
Great.
So thank you, Nitin.
Thank you.
Should I go to the next slide?
Yes, please. So, friends, I would like to remind you that uh, this coming Thursday, October 24th, 7 p.m., we have the last session of our Heartfulness Peace webinar series. It's about transcendental meditation, awakening inner peace and collective consciousness by Dr. Anil Maheshwari. So I would encourage everyone to participate this webinar of this Peace webinar series. And you can take a screen capture or a QR code for that to register for this session. Also, I would like to encourage Friends, if you are interested to meditate with a personal trainer, we have the upcoming session on October 26th, 27th, and 28th. Please either take the screen capture of this or scan this QR code. And these sessions are free of charge. And you get a deeper experience of meditation when you are with personal trainer. And also we have a Heartfulness group meditation at India House in Houston every Sunday at 8:45 a.m. So if you want to explore this, please feel free to come at India House. It is every Sunday at 8:45 a.m. This is the contact information. If you have any further questions for Heartfulness, please email. And also we have the contact for Dr. Munish. Please take the screen capture or take a picture of it. You can reach out to Dr. Munish as well for any further discussion. I again thank you, Munish, for all your guidance, support, and I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. And thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, everyone.